Welcome to season 1 wrap up on No Time Like Joe Time, where TV gets steep for no reason. On this episode, we're going to be looking at the origin of No Time Like Joe Time, the process, some of the best of, and a little sneak peek at season 2. With that, let's get into the episode. All right, let's start with the origin of No Time Like Joe Time, because I get 100 emails from nobody about why the show is titled No Time Like Joe Time and why I started. Well, nobody. So first we have to talk about the name, No Time Like Joe Time. I went through a lot of different variations of the title. One was Joe Has No Original Thought. One was What Did You Learn? But none of them felt right. No Time Like Joe Time came from, because when I was younger, I used to speak with middle schoolers and part of youth events, and it was called Joe Time, just Joe Time, where I go and talk for like 5 minutes. And so the show got the title No Time Like Joe Time. The origin of the idea came from, I always reference TV shows in my conversation. If you know me personally, you know this very well. It's very rare I can go a conversation without it's kind of like this episode of Scrubs where this happened. Well, at one of my jobs, I often use TV shows to make references. When I was leaving my last week, somebody said, what are we going to do without all of your TV references? And I said, hey, I can record them from you. And then a light bulb went off. And I was like, I've been thinking about doing a second podcast. I just figured it out. So I put together some clips and I recorded with some Simpsons clips. And when I watched it, it was awful. It was awful. I quickly learned I am not a one-man show. I am unable to put on a quality show for you just by myself. If I was in a crowd, I can do comedy up there. But here, I can't hear you all laughing. I don't get any joy. I'm looking at a camera. It's dead eyes staring into me. Just like what I see when I look in the mirror. Anyways, I decided then it was time to start bringing on a guest. And I decided, wouldn't it be fun if I had a new guest every week? So I contacted my cousin Jacob, who was our very first guest, and we did a recording. And it seemed great. Even though a lot of you didn't watch that. I don't know why. It's fine. It's fine. You know, it's fine. Fine. Why? What is it? I'm sorry. You know how I get when I get, like I said, it's fine. I really liked how it went, so I started to reach out to other people. Season 1 contains 11 episodes. These are my legacy guests, the people who came on before even one episode was released. Each episode just seemed to get better and better, and I love the conversation. It started to get me to connect with people I haven't connected with for a long time. I started to see some success once Robot Chicken episode came on. Now, let's be honest, I'm not a mega star, so like 60 downloads, hey, that's pretty good. But Robot Chicken got about almost 200 downloads. Then we got Ted Lasso with Adam Stout for over 200. And then we started to see more 100 plus, which again, hey, this is like my first couple months. That's not bad. You don't believe me? Why don't you go make a YouTube podcast, huh? Stop thinking you're better than me. And it seemed like I had a good thing going. So once I finished recording all season 1 and started releasing them, I knew I wanted to keep going. I wanted to work on season 2. So I found a group on Facebook where you could reach out for guests. Everybody on there was doing like super fancy, like business, how to like grow your profession. And then I was like,
who wants to watch TV shows with me?
And I got responses. A lot of people actually love the idea. So season 2, I started bringing on people I've never met, authors, creators, comedians, and the likes. And things just seem to be going well. So no plan to stop. Season 2 actually started with Don Gleason. His episode was released early because he was doing some great work with raising money for leukemia. Our season finale was officially Travis Stewart. Why am I telling you this? I don't know. You probably don't care. Or you do, and I love you so much for caring. That's amazing. The process. Let's talk about the process of creating a No Time Like Joe time. First, you need equipment. And I have equipment. I've got this fancy mic here. Do you see it? It's a microphone. So you use it to speak into it, in case you didn't know. And I also have this fancy camera I'll probably take a picture of. I took a picture of it. You know what? I was going to upload it, but honestly, I don't want to. So that's it right there. Okay, you can't see it. I guess I'm going to have to upload it. But it's got a fancy light. That's how it matters. And then for recording, I use Zoom, which, just in case you're thinking about recording, apparently Zoom does have a limit, and at some point it will say you're running out of time and you need to upgrade. So just consider that. I like Zoom because it's easy and simple. Up next is finding a guest. Now I have about 15 episodes cataloged, because with releasing episodes weekly, it would be way too intense for me to find somebody the week of and quickly do everything. So I get a stockpile. So if you ever come on, just know odds are yours is not going to get released the next day. It'll probably be like a month or two. Can I say I'm popular? Once I get the guest, I ask them what they really like and what they would like to use. They usually give me the show, and then I ask them, is there any clips you would like to use? I would say I've had about 2 or 3 people say, yes, I would like to pick the clips. Everybody else is like, you pick. So the next step is using my best friend, YouTube, because sometimes I have 3 to 4 recordings a week, and I ain't got time to watch all these new shows. I go on YouTube to find compilations of the show. A lot of times, that's where I get my clips. If I can't find something I like, then I will start to watch the show. One thing I try to do as well is, so I have somebody who's coming on who's a licensed therapist. We're going to be watching a couple Simpsons episodes about therapy. So I like to try to set it up to play to the person's strength, so they can kind of find wisdom and kind of, flex a little bit. So I schedule a time with the person, send them the clips, make sure they're happy with it. Then the next thing I do is write a script. Every beginning bit has a script. I send it to them, and for whatever reason, these people, oh man, I didn't have my background on. That's going to be distracting for me. There, we're good. Oh, write the script. And for whatever reason, they keep agreeing to do it with me, but it's so much fun. And I think it's a little nerving, but once they see I'm the butt of the joke, they feel a little better. So then we do our recording. I thank them. We have a pleasant time. And then I go to editing. So this is my editing system. It is called CapCut. It is very common among podcasters, and I dig it. There's a few cool things really quick to show you if you ever want to get into podcasting or YouTube. You can do long videos to short. So it's very wise to have shorts on TikTok or YouTube. It's a good way to get a lot of views in. So this is it. So these are some of the things I've recorded over time. And if we look through, okay, that disappeared. That's cool. I like that. Oh, it's over here. So this is my recording. This is what it looks like. Every break you see is somewhere I've edited. It can be really fun. But one thing I do like about it is there's a lot of, if you don't like the ums like I don't, you can easily pick where you want and just trim it. I'm not going to do it because I don't want to undo everything here. Don't ask about the hair. We won't worry about that. Oh boy. Oh well, I guess that's just life now. This is where I do my editing. And how long does it take, you ask? I usually say the amount of time it is to the length of the video plus 30%. So, for example, this video is 56 minutes and 45 seconds. If we do something called math, because I have a calculator in my pocket, told you 6th grade math teacher I'd have a calculator in my pocket. So 56.49 times 0.30%. That doesn't seem right. Let's do 40%. Okay, I would say it's about the full length of the video plus 50%. So let's just round this up to an hour. It probably would take me about an hour and a half to edit this because I'm watching the whole thing and then just finding little bits to edit. So, a little bit of work, probably worth a like and subscribe, but that's fine. Free entertainment. Once I'm done with recording, then I put it on my Buzzsprout and on YouTube. I'm not going to tell you what Buzzsprout is because it's nerd stuff. But if you want to know, message me and I'll tell you all about it. Or if you ever want to talk about equipment and all that good stuff, I'm always here to help. Always happy to talk about it. So that's the process. Now let's move on to some of the good stuff. I think my favorite opening, by the way, these questions are being asked by Harold Smith. He is from the New York Times. He's just not on screen and he felt better just writing it up. My favorite opening, I think, is with me and Greg Williams. The bit itself is kind of silly. The whole concept of he has a YouTube channel called Battle Rap Unfiltered. And I think it's Battle Rap Ungifted. So basically the bit is I never watched his stuff and I think it's about rapping gifts. That alone's kind of funny, but we take it to a whole new level. And I ended up creating a opening bit for a podcast that we decided to start called Battle Rap Ungifted. Here it is.
Welcome to Battle Rap Ungifted, all you haters. We're gonna teach you how to rap gifts as your teachers. We are best friends whose gift is rapping. So get your gift and don't be napping. It's Battle Rap Ungifted.
Yeah, and that was me. That was all me singing that, putting it together, all the magic of editing. So that was just, I think it was the most amount of work. It was a lot of fun. My favorite clip, it's so funny because I use this so much. My favorite clip is from episode 1. It's the first clip we ever use. It's
Sideshow Bob has no decency. He called me Chief Piggum. Now I get it. Good.
ha ha ha. And I think I like it so much because it just is how I see taking yourself too seriously. That if you take yourself too seriously, people are going to laugh, but you can kind of dictate the laugh if you're the one who leads it. I think the most meaningful episode is combined between two. One, regular size Rudy Breaks Our Heart with Morgan Shornack, and Community with Travis Dwyer. Morgan's because it was a really meaningful look into divorce where it wasn't like, it wasn't looking to make monsters out of the parents, but also was being real that sometimes divorce is hard on kids. So it was a really good discussion. Morgan and I have come from divorced families, so it was really good. Travis, we just had a great conversation about truth and just how this world right now, we're in a place where we don't really want to listen. And what I said is kind of, we're having minor religions all over the place because there's groups who will say, well, if you don't do this, you're not part of our group. You're not an ally. And sometimes that's stuff the church can do. And so it's kind of interesting seeing people who are like, well, no, that's terrible, but are doing the same thing. And so the idea of like listening when we don't feel like listening should be offered. I think that was a really powerful episode for me when I was editing, because it's just, we need more listening, y'all. I'm sorry. I know a lot of people won't like to hear that because they're like, oh, this person's just horrible. I don't know. My thought is always, do I not vanquish my enemy when I make them my friend? I don't know. I just most of the time don't see people change by being a bully to them. I see people change by having a conversation. So just think about that next time you want to just rip somebody a new one. The lowest viewed video, and I feel bad because it's such a good one, is my first episode, The Simpsons with Jacob Shornack. It did not do well. at all, which is, it's probably because it was the first one. So a lot of people probably weren't tuning in, but I think it's good. It's got 2 very funny Simpsons clips. So you should go back, watch that. I will say too, the opening bit isn't very strong. I was still figuring out what I was doing. The most viewed video at this point is Ted Lasso with Adam Stout. I mean, it's Ted Lasso. That's pretty much why it got the most views. It's great. And we had pretty good conversations about it. And Ted Lasso's an amazing show, so it should do well. The episode with the most positive feedback is Attack on Titan with Zach Peterson. If you haven't listened to that, listen to that too. Zach is just, he's got a great presence. I mean, so many of my guests do, but Zach he's got a great laugh. He's got good insight and was just really fun to do the episode with him. So he's actually going to be my first reoccurring guest. So look forward to that. So a couple things I would love to have happen for No Time Like Joe Time. First is just having meaningful conversations. Before, if you are ever going to jump into podcasting or YouTube, you have to know your why, because just statistically, you are not going to come on and explode and get like 1 million views or subscribers. I mean, there's always that outliner, so don't give me crap if you get that, but rub it in my face a little bit. So my why for No Time Like Joe Time is just having a meaningful conversation. Like, my hope is if nobody listens to that episode, I at least get something out of it. And I have. Every episode I've gotten something out of it, which is cool. But if things did go bigger and better, which I would love, I'm not going to lie, I would love for it to keep growing, I would actually like to do a couple branches. And I would love to either host, co-host, or just hand the podcast off to somebody else to do 2 different podcasts. Once, I mean, it would probably be No Time Like Brian Time or Josh Time or whatever, whoever would step in. And I'd love for one to be about movies where you learn lessons and songs that are meaningful. Same kind of idea. Take 2 bits, talk about it. The other thing I want to do with this. So I was at a park the other day and I was walking down the sidewalk and somebody wrote in chalk, "All I see in the world is hate. Do something about it." And I wanted to write, "Together we can." People who I've been talking with are people who are on a mission to do really cool things. From people who are trying to teach creativity again for our kids and for our schools, people who are creating fashion design for people who don't always have a lot of fashion. There's a profit to community company where they're for profit, but they funnel those funds into the community. What I want for them is to help promote these people. And if you're one of those people who are like, yeah, I agree, do something about that, well, here's your opportunity to help. There's some people who you can really support. Keep an eye on the podcast as these guests come in, and let's do our part to fight the hate. Season 2 I am really excited for season 2. We've got so many amazing guests. People who are way out of my league. Don't know what they did slumming with me, but so much fun. I think you are really going to like season 2. There's a lot of new shows we cover, a lot of hidden gems. It's really awesome, and I really hope you like it. And I hope you like this in general. Remember, it's a podcast too, so you don't just have to watch it on YouTube. But my hope with this is also just to keep opening up conversations. Because one thing TV can do, art can do, it can give us a platform to talk without it feeling threatening. I don't know. I just hope it brings more conversation. Yes, you can be a guest. If you want to be a guest, anybody is welcome. All are welcome. I don't want this to ever be like only people who are doing cool things or whatever. I don't care. Anybody is welcome on this podcast. So if you want to come on, I'd love to have you. Send me an email at no time. Okay, wait, I have to do this backwards. Yeah. Okay. No time like Joe time at gmail.com. And you can let me know if you want to be on, what show you want to watch, or if you want to recommend shows, do that too. Also, get in the comments section. Let us know what you've learned from the shows we watch. I'd love to hear from it, and we can cover it later on. My last thing to do is say thank you for everybody who's watched and listened. I hope this content has made you think, made you laugh a little bit, and just given you something to do in the background. I'm truly grateful, even if one person watches this. It's amazing to me. I mean, put something out in the world is scary. And, knowing that there's been 200 plus people who've listened to some of my stuff, about 5,000 people who viewed all my videos. It's really cool. So thank you. And to say you're welcome, Joe, I really like it if you liked, subscribed, commented, shared, all that good stuff. It really helps me out, helps me grow an audience. And the bigger we get, I want to try to get more and more cool guests on, and anyone else, and just try to make this a fun place where you can come and just talk about things. So that's about all I got. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. And I'll see you next week for continuous kickoff of season 2. Babies. All right. I'm out. Love you. I like you just the way you are.